Hey there, Jets Nation. Welcome back to One Jets Pod. Whether you're tuning into our video content or joining us on our audio-only platforms, we've got you covered. If you're enjoying what you hear or see, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and don't just gently tap, but smash that bell icon to stay notified whenever we drop new content. Also, we love comments and 5-star ratings. Thanks again, Jets fans. Now together, let's fuel the green and white passion. Let's go, Jets.
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium.
Hit it! Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Randy, and welcome back to the One Jets Pod weekly mock draft. I'm joined by my co-host, Dominic Lorenz. Dominic, how are you, my friend?
Doing well, man. Looking forward to another mock draft this week. I feel we did exceptionally well last week for the first go-around. I don't know about you, but maybe we're just biased a little bit.
I mean, I thought so. I mean, let's go ahead and, well, first of all, I want to go over our free agency picks from last week. We went guard, tackle, wide receiver. We went Jermaine Elamenoir, if that's even how you say it.
That's fine. Mr. Jermaine.
Mr. J.E. And at tackle, we went Mike Onwenu, and we went wide receiver Hollywood Brown. We restructured Lincoln, and we traded Zach for, I think, a seventh.
No, Zach Wilson in a 7th, and in return we got a 5th.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I kind of, well, we'll get to that here. Let's go over last week's picks.
Yeah.
The number 19 overall pick, we took Talise Fuaga, offensive tackle from Oregon State, in the first round. Now, we did a trade, which got us a couple extra picks. And so in the second round, we picked wide receiver Jalen Polk. I believe 72 is in the third round, right, Dom? So,
72 is in the third round with Chris Jenkins, a good defensive tackle. So right off the top of the bat, we went O-line, wide receiver, defensive tackle. So we kind of hit some of the top 3 points that the Jets really want to emphasize on this offseason. And if you added Polk to Hollywood Brown and Garrett Wilson, that's a nice little threesome tandem right there for Aaron Rodgers. It's
not bad. It might squeeze Lazard a little bit. Maybe he might show up during games.
Maybe. He shows up when Aaron Rodgers is there, but not when anybody else isn't there.
Now, I'll tell you, one of my favorite picks out of this draft, who could be a decent backup even this year, I believe, some good quality depth, and possibly work himself into a starting position, not necessarily center, but eventually maybe like guard or something, later on down the line, was Cedric Van Pran. Now, I remember I was like, I want this guy, I hope he's there.
Yep.
And sure as shit, he was there, man. So, and that was somebody, I believe, Dom C., who I respect a lot, who does a lot of mock drafts, who does a lot of scouting. I believe he's going to school for to be a scout. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's high on Cedric Van Pran, so I was happy to get that. Another one we were kind of eyeballing, hoping he was there, was Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
Possibly a replacement for old Aaron Rodgers when he leaves.
Yeah, and remember, that scenario, we did not have a backup quarterback coming in the last mock draft. Now, this week, as you can tell by the bottom of your screen, Jacoby Brissett, we signed to a 1-year, $8 million deal. So that may change the trajectory of this week's mock drafts. But, we were debating between the Tennessee quarterback and Sam Hartman, and we played a little gamesmanship chess match, especially when we picked Christian Mahogany and Tyke Smith, which... Yeah. Based on the ranking systems, those two guys should have went way earlier in the draft, and they dropped in the mock draft. So we said, why not steal them now?
I believe Tyke Smith was a third-round projection?
Third-round projection.
Insane.
Easily within the top 90 overall pick. So
I know Dom C. would have gave us a big pat on the back for landing him.
Yeah, so to get Sam Hartman at 186 after getting a lot of needs early on, quarterback is a need. So Absolutely. Being able to put that together at the end of the day, and then I will have to admit, the last 3 picks that we put together, Putnam Rex and Frank Gore Jr., I think those were just a little sprinkle on the Sunday, depth pieces that wouldn't be necessarily in the running maybe this upcoming year or even next year, but it's, again, farther down the road. And come on, Frank Gore Jr. for Mr. Irrelevant, come on now.
Right, and we were eyeballing Frank Gore Jr. for Mr. Irrelevant 3 rounds.
They had him ranked over 4. He was 445th.
Yeah.
That didn't. No. Family bloodlines say differently. So,
But no, overall, it was a really good draft. I thought for our first draft, for the free agency we put together, I thought we did pretty well.
but we're gonna double down and do it even better this week.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Now, before we move on, now I was working on these, and I did get a lot of positive feedback. I haven't checked X or Twitter in a few hours, but I did a couple of mock-ups on some uniforms. Now,
Oh yeah.
I was kind of lazy on them, so maybe that's probably why. But I thought they turned out good. I mean, I looked at them, I was like, man, if the Jets rolled them out with these, man, I would be happy. I mean, these just scream New York Jets.
They're pretty clean.
And I was going with the white helmet look. I've been trying to perfect the white helmet.
The white helmet is something I feel is underutilized in the NFL, and I really believe that the Cleveland Browns do it pretty well when they do theirs.
Well, Jets did it well for 20 years.
And the Jets, back in the day. So for me, I do like, especially on the green jersey with the white stripes on the shoulder pads and the Jets emblem on the left breast. Like it's such a clean look, and the all white uni. Well, I don't want to say all white, but the primary whites with just the green numbering and the trim. Again, it's a clean look, man.
It really is old school.
It's old school, but a clean look. I like them.
It's similar to that Niners look. That classic old school look, man.
Yeah, we tried bringing back, kind of throw back the 90s with the vintage white road jerseys and a couple other ones. There's been some mock-ups where fans are trying to get more of a red and black tone to the 49er jerseys with gold trim and kind of incorporating that black element into it instead of just red, white, and the gold, very minimalistic gold trim. But you can do a lot with that color scheme of red, white, black, and gold. And same thing with the Jets. Red, green, and white. I'm sorry, not red. Well, the NFL patch is red, so if you want to consider that. But again, just the white and the green and the little black undertones, you can do a lot with that.
Oh, yeah. Now, while we're on this subject real quick, because I remember back in the day, now I thought I saw it, and they, at least to my knowledge, never wore it again, or maybe I was tripping. maybe I just saw the opponent. But did the 49ers in the past ever wear an all-black uniform?
Not to my knowledge, no. Not in my lifetime.
I'm tripping.
Not in my lifetime.
With red lettering and stuff.
That's what a lot of fans are trying. You see those alternate jerseys like at Fanatics and different things, like they're not game authentic jerseys, but they're just kind of like those mock-ups. Mm-hmm. A lot of fans want that and have those black jerseys with the red numbering and the gold trim or the gold lettering for the last names on the back. I think that would have been phenomenal if the Niners had won the Super Bowl, because you get that gold emblem for the championship and just bring a new design into the mix. But for the last couple of years, the Niners have been really high on those all-white 90s throwback road jerseys.
I love all-white.
And it's all, like, I'm talking white, except for the helmet, of course. They want all-white top to bottom. I think they wore
That'd be pretty dope if you got an all-white helmet, though.
They if you go back and looked at what the 49ers wore on Thanksgiving night against Seattle in Seattle, that's the ones I'm talking about.
The 94 uniforms?
Yeah, the 94.
I love those ones with the 3D block lettering.
Yeah.
That's the one they won the Super Bowl in.
Well, I know. A lot of people thought they should have wore those this Super Bowl, but that didn't happen. The NFL said no.
Even though I like that uniform, that was kind of one of them. They weren't there very long. The Niners, what they wear now is that classic, from the 70s, 49er look. That's what I love about it, dude.
Yeah.
The 49ers is one of those teams that they've never really had to steer away from the look too far,
But the Niners jerseys now are so much better than even the early 2010s, where the red was a little more, it was like a lighter, kind of more faded red. Okay. And it was, no offense, like the worst, I don't want to say the worst, but the most throwback to me is the early 2000 Jeff Garcia, Terrell Owens era.
The little darker red, but with that kind of, poo-colored gold and nastiness. And I'm like, that's not my thing. That's a little too early. For me, it's the old Joe Montana red, man. That bright red.
Yeah.
With the, I guess you could say toned down gold, I guess.
Kind of like what they have now. What they have now is kind of in the realm of the Joe Montana era.
Love it. I love it.
I'll take it.
I'll
take it.
Well, now let's get into this mock. Now, as you see, ladies and gentlemen, on the screen, we had $67 million in cap space going into free agency. I took what the Athletic put together as far as what they did all the math. So if you get a chance, go read that. Spend $1.99 if you want. I don't care. But I use their formula. And this week, we went ahead and signed number 2 wide receiver from Buffalo, wide receiver Gabe Davis, to a 4-year, $57.5 million deal.
A little over. In my opinion, I think he'll get a contract. I think it's too much for Gabe Davis. And
really?
This is not just you putting the numbers in. I think he's no more than a 3 for 30 kind of guy. 3 for 30 at yeah. I think his inconsistency. $10 million a year? His inconsistency with Buffalo is concerning. I think that's the big, because when he's on, damn good wide receiver. But he's either 6 catches for 100 yards and a tutty, or 1 catch, 5 yards, that's it. Like, he's very bipolar in that sense. So this is a
$14 million a year average.
Yeah, so I think a little bit higher than I would spend as a GM. So I think, Athletic with their money breakdown is a little generous.
Mr. GM, you could help me with these fucking numbers, right? You know what? Now that I know
I'm in trouble.
I'm coming for you. I'm like, yo, bro, what would you do? And whatever you say, that's what I'm putting.
No, you know what I would do? Let's restructure Gabe Davis. Instead of 4 for 57.5, screw the extra 500,000. 57 only. Dude, no decimals. No, I think, I think you're in the realm of Gabe Davis. I think just personally, I think his inconsistencies if I was a real GM would be the emphasis where I'd be like, okay, let's take a second guess here at this point.
And you know what? And I don't say you're not wrong, because when I posted, I don't know if I answered a question or posed a question on X, but a lot of people were very anti Gabe Davis.
Yeah, I really think it's just because it's not like he's really good, a little in the middle, and then a little bit. It's either good or bad. There is sometimes no middle ground with them. So that's where the concerning part is, and especially after
he gets a lot of drops.
And right now with that steep drop off after Garrett Wilson, and Alan Yazard as your 2, and then you have Gibson as your 3. Mm-hmm. Maybe Conklin's in there as well because he is technically a receiver. But on the wide receiver front, I think if you pair Gabe Davis in this situation, you either get a wide receiver, which we'll see what happens here in the picks today, which, as I'm talking about Gabe Davis, maybe I'm foreshadowing a little bit. At some point in this week's mock draft, I'll want to get a receiver just because you want to shorten the gap of what Gabe Davis potentially his inconsistencies are. So that's number 1. But then maybe the Jets go out and make another trade. Yeah, I'm saying not in this mock draft, but in real life. They go out and sign somebody else. Like, let's say we merged Hollywood Brown from last week and Gabe Davis. Okay. That kind of shaves off Gabe Davis's inconsistencies a little bit and can be supplemented from a Hollywood Brown. And, of course, Aaron Rodgers back on the field makes any receiver better in that situation. So that maybe – and no knock to Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a phenomenal quarterback. And I know saying that on a Jets podcast is probably detriment.
Sacrilege.
But is he better than Tua Tagovailoa in my opinion? Yes. Is he better than anybody the Patriots are going to put out on the field next season? Yes. The AFC East is between Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen. And coming off of an injury from Aaron Rodgers, I would have to put Josh Allen above Aaron Rodgers.
That's
just
fine.
Because we don't know what Aaron Rodgers can do in a Jets uniform.
That's fair.
With Saleh, with Hackett. He had 4 snaps before the Achilles went out. Yeah. And now, as a Niner fan, I can sympathize even more because Dre Greenlaw in the Super Bowl blows his Achilles just trying to run on the field.
Oh, that was a total fucking bummer.
So I think, long point short, I like Gabe Davis as the player, and I think he could fit that mold. The money, I think, is a little bit high, even if it was like 4 for 40. If you want to go higher on the years, or 4 for, again, it's the inconsistency, especially with all the inconsistencies the Jets have gone through. I know there's no such thing as a surefire signing or a pick,
right?
But, I think that's what they want to gravitate to more. Now, I'll put it back to you. Out of the 2 mock draft scenarios, if you're GM of the Jets right now and you have to flip a coin, and you have to make a decision in this moment. Are you giving a contract to Hollywood Brown or Gabe Davis?
Oh,
Who
Hollywood Brown, baby.
You go Hollywood Brown. Okay.
Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
Absolutely. And like I said, you make a lot of fair points. You make a lot of the same points that a lot of Jet fans on X this morning made when we were talking about Gabe. So there might be there's something there. I did look at the numbers. Had to eat a little bit of crow. Like, he had the drops. I mean, I think a 55% drop rate, I believe, or something like that.
That's the tough part about it. So we went through a consistent Hollywood Brown who's been injury plagued.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe Davis, not so much injuries, but just inconsistency. Maybe on the next mock draft, and again, foreshadowing very futuristically into next week, maybe a bona fide wide receiver like a T. Higgins or a Mike Evans comes to town. And we can kind of see how we play with it at that point, because that gives, again, we're trying to give perspectives here in the mock drafts. It's we're early in the off season. We're just, a week and a half so removed from the Super Bowl, 2 weeks removed or so from the Super Bowl. And there's a lot of time between now and the new fiscal year for the NFL when free agency happens. So bear with us here, folks. We're giving you options, Jets fans.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Absolutely. All right. And so the next signing, we actually got us a backup quarterback this week, Mr. Jacoby Brissett. We're bringing
And this was my intake from last week.
Absolutely. I can't believe I forgot us a fucking back. As much as I've been talking about it this year, I forgot us to get us a backup quarterback. So we had the wasted draft pick on Sam fucking Hartman. No, I'm just kidding. We went out. We got Jacoby Brissett on a 1-year, $8 million deal. How do you feel about this one?
Good enough. I think Jacoby Brissett, he played a little bit with the Commanders last year when Sam Howell.
The same salary he got last year, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. To me, that's an average salary for a backup quarterback. It's not going to break the bank.
Right.
I know there's a lot of other quarterbacks out on the market. Gardner Minshew could be a backup. Carson Wentz could be a backup. Ryan Tannehill's an interesting case scenario because he's been a starter, not a consistent starter, but could he accept a backup role in a quarterback battle situation with the team? Like maybe Ryan Tannehill is the next quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings because it looks like the Vikings don't want to pay guaranteed money to Kirk Cousins.
God.
So there's a lot of interesting scenarios that could happen with quarterback play. But for this conversation, 1 year, $8 million, fair price for a backup quarterback. I would say Jacoby Brissett out of all the backup quarterbacks is a consistency type player.
I agree. And to be honest with you, I think Jacoby Brissett will be seeing a lot of time here on the mock draft as the backup quarterback option in our free agencies.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Because I don't think the Jets are going to go out and spend, money on let's go get Kirk Cousins. Why are you going to do that? You have Aaron Rodgers.
Kirk Cousins not coming to take a backup.
I think the best, honestly, I think moving forward, I think if we're going to sign free agent quarterbacks, you're in the realm of either Brissett, Carson Wentz, or if we want a long shot at Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
I think those are your three. We're not going to, I'm sorry, on this mock draft, we're not going to be probably signing a Kirk Cousins.
No.
Gardner Minshew.
I think Kirk Cousins ended up in Las Vegas.
I didn't put that together, but I actually kind of think that works.
I could see that.
Davante Adams would like that.
Oh, he would love it, and I think he would love Davante.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next on the free agency board is same guy we brought in last week, Mike Onwenu, same price, 5 years, $80 million.
Good move, no problem.
No, and then the newest guy, offensive guard, another division rival player, Robert Hunt from the Miami Dolphins, 3 years, $25 million. That's $8.3 million a year. He's an older guy.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think, again, we know the offensive line is a huge need for the Jets. And you got to shore it up some way, shape, or form. And if you get those two guys in Mike and Robert, 5 years, 80, 3 years, 25, I think that's fair money to protect Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely, which at the current moment, our current offensive line looks, which we're probably going to draft offensive line in the first round, ladies and gentlemen. There's no secret here on the 1JP where we're going to go in most of our first round. So we'll go draftee, Robert Hunt, Joe Tippmann, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Mike Onwenu. That's a hell of an offensive line depending on who we get to the blind side for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So I think that's a good start. Number 10 pick. I see this going a multitude of different ways. Again, we got to live up to the mock draft database system.
Yep.
So, last week it went pretty much the way we thought of it. Now, if you all remember from last week, I don't know if you put this in the episode.
No, I totally forgot.
You thought so last week before we hit the record button, we started the draft, but then we had hit some settings, so it only did one round of drafting instead of all 7. The first 3 picks were odd. It was like Joe Alt going number 1.
Number 1, yep.
Caleb Williams went 4. Like somebody who was projected to go number 10 went number 2. It was like, no, so it all worked out in the right way. So I'm interested to see how this mock draft simulator.
I think it's a little better than the Pro Football Network.
Well, we're gonna see. So, so Gabe Davis, Brissett, Onwenu, and Hunt. Welcome to the Jets. We're at the number 10 pick. Let's see.
All right. Well, by the way, remember we traded Zach in the 7th to Washington. This week we got a 4th. I got a little greedy and got a 4th out of it.
Okay. Where did he go again? Wilson to where?
To Washington.
To the Commanders.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sonia, she's going to be excited. She got herself a shiny new toy.
So you got a 4th round pick out of this. All right.
I sure did.
All
right. So shall we start the draft, my good sir?
And we still don't have a 2nd round pick going into this. All right.
No 2nd round pick.
Here we go.
We don't pick again until the 3rd.
Let's go.
We will entertain a trade if it comes on. If it's good.
Oh, of course. Please.
We'll see. Only one this week, folks. Only one.
One
so here
trade.
we go. Starting it. All right, so we're up. Let's go ahead and actually.
Let's see how they do this. So you get to see.
We go. There
we go. So Caleb Williams goes 1.
Mm-hmm.
So everything pretty much went the way it looked.
Son of a bitch! You gotta be kidding me! Your own is available.
Time out. You know me. This is the part of the mock drafts that I love. Is seeing who got picked above these players. You're telling me the Washington wide receiver Odunze and Alt and Turner were not taken? Like, I need to see these picks. Like, how in the heck is this?
How do I
because Florida State edge rusher goes 9th. That's weird.
How do you see the teams?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Wow. So it shows you here. So you see Caleb Williams, Drake May, they all got taken. Now, if you scroll past Turner, number 10 got taken, the offensive tackle from Penn State, Jared Verse and Latu. Wow. So 3 10 and below guys get taken. You know where we're going. We don't even need to talk about it.
No.
The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, Joe Alt. Welcome to the Jets.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the 10th overall pick in the 2024 draft, the New York Jets select offensive tackle Notre Dame, Joseph Alt.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
So now we're going to be waiting a while because we don't have another pick to 72.
Nope.
And at the moment, no draft. So the NFL mock database that we're using, you can't see all the picks. So we have a trade offer.
We have a trade. We got 3 trade offers. Okay, so the Texans are offering to swap 72 for 86 and then give us 128 and 236.
Now we have 103, 112, 114, and then 186. So that would give us a lot in the 100s. Okay, next offer.
The Pittsburgh Steelers want to swap 72
no.
for 8. They didn't want to give us...
No, too much future. We're not in the business of that.
No.
So
what do you think about the Texans offer, dude?
Well, it's a battle of 49ers right here. Robert Saleh's Jets against DeMeco Ryans' Houston Texans. You know, you got a pick swap down 14 from 72 to 86. You get an extra 4th round. You said we got a 4th round for Zach Wilson.
Yep.
So that brings our total to 3 4th round picks because we had one right coming into this draft before the Zach Wilson trade.
Yes.
Yeah, so that would give us 3 4ths and then adding a 7th at 236. Well, it depends on this point. I'll put it this way: you got an A-plus offensive lineman.
Sure did.
You got 2 offensive linemen in free agency. I believe we still have Lincoln Tomlinson as a backup,
Yeah.
and Elijah Vera Tucker's back healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Tittman's still there.
So our offensive line is Joe Alt, Robert Hunt, Joe Tittman, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Mike Nwenu.
So I would say if that was your O-line going into opening day, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with, again, Tomlinson being the backup? You have 6, 6-7 bona fide guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Hell
again, you're losing 14 picks or so. Again, this is the chess match I bring into the mock draft. This is the way I view mock drafts. If you, pardon me as I lose my headphone here, what would be in this moment getting an A-plus offensive lineman? What is the next big need for the New York Jets?
I would say, let's see here. Wide receiver?
Okay, because
maybe safety.
Okay. So, what are the type of you got?
Ooh, Javon Bullard. Oh,
you got Bullard right here. He's probably going to get taken off the pick if we wait 14.
I feel like both these guys right here, Javon Bullard and Kalen Bullock.
What do we got on the wide receiver front? A lot of wide receivers taking him.
Corley, he's available.
So Corley we talked about last week, and then we had
Ricky Pearsall's not a bad choice either.
We have Pearsall, Wilson, and who was on? I think that was Brendan Rice under that. Jerry Rice's son.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, what about let's say now we still have Huff on this squad, right?
No, Huff's gone.
Okay, so what? Remind me again, Huff's position. I'm blanking for the moment.
I believe he's a linebacker.
Okay,
defensive end, I think.
Defensive end. Okay, so what do we got on the defensive end side of things here on the mock draft availability?
Yeah.
Probably edge rusher. Let's see what we got. Austin Booker. Oh no. Oh, we keep going up here.
Jonah Ellis, Brandon Dorless, and then Marshawn
Nealon. So, in your opinion, any of those guys on those 3 categories, like jumping off the page, it's like, well, we need those guys. We can't wait to go back 14 picks.
Oh man.
Because I know Corley we talked about last week.
I'd really hate to pass up Bullard.
Bullard. Let me see. He's a safety. We didn't talk about Bullard last week, so let's bring him up in this conversation right now.
Okay.
So Bullard from the University of Georgia, a Bulldog. He is listed as the 4th best safety in this draft. Now, to put it in perspective, Minnesota's Tyler Nubin is number 1. Cameron Kitchens from Miami is rated 2. Kalen Bullock from USC is rated 3rd. And then Javon Bullard in the 4 spot. So let's look at Bullard first. Even though he's ranked 10 spots higher than Bullock, even though Bullock is rated higher than him. So Bullard 5'10", 4.5 second 40-yard dash. He's an 80% rated safety, 88% tackling, 75% run defense, 96% in coverage defense.
Wow.
85 in zone and 96 in press coverage. So he's a late 2nd round pick. And right now we are pretty much in that late 2nd round. So we're right on cue. Okay. He had over 1,200 snaps in college in 35 games. So a seasoned veteran as a 3-star recruit. Good numbers from him. The best qualities about him: he's instinctive. He has awareness in zone coverage. He has length, speed, and quickness. His weaknesses: he's a little conservative and gives too much cushion, and he gives too many big play abilities to opposing teams. So that's a little bit on Javon Bullard. Now, for perspective purposes,
remember who he's got helping him out down there in the as far as DBs. You got Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed.
Exactly. So you have 2 DBs. So again, those little nuances that he can work on and develop, it's supplemented by Reed and Sauce Gardner. So that's a good juxtaposition right there. On the opposite side for the USC safety, Kalen Bullock, his rating is overall 1% lower at 79%, 80% tackling, 54% in run defense. Now, both of these safeties did not do well in this category. 91% in zone coverage, or 91 in coverage, 86 in zone, 88 in press. He had more snaps in more games at USC, and he has high ball skills, instinctual play, strong tackling, versatile in coverage. His weaknesses does not have explosiveness. While he's aggressive, his tackles may miss and be overcommitting. So they both have very similar structures to their game. And again, having Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed is going to be a big helpful piece to these two safeties. So, we had a slam dunk pick in Joe Alt. I think if we give up and accept the Houston Texans trade in this scenario, you're giving up two quality secondary guys. So for me, I would decline, the trade in this scenario. And I think either way you look at it, to me, it's a coin flip. I feel both Bullard and Bullock. What are the odds? Their last names are relatively the same,
right?
It's a coin flip for me. And Georgia's a proven program in the SEC. USC has their inconsistencies at defense. So if you want to look back on college trajectory, you would lean Georgia. But they have relatively the same marks on nearly everything. So, for you being Mr. Jets, I will defer to you on this one because I think both of them are quality 72 overall pick.
Absolutely. And this isn't to knock USC or the program or
not at all. And I'm a USC fan. I'll be admit. Here in SoCal, I'm a USC fan.
I think quality of opponent is going to drive my decision here, and I think Georgia they play a little more quality opponents, so he's playing against better, he's playing against better offenses, on a yearly basis. So I'm going to go with Javon Bullard.
Let's go.
So Dominic, my good sir, if you'd like to announce our third round pick here
with the 72nd pick in the 2024 New York Jets One Jets Pod mock draft. The New York Jets select Javon Bullard, the safety from the Georgia Bulldogs.
All right.
Here we go. So
Love
Joe Alt and Javon Bullard, A+ ratings, and new trade alert.
Yeah, we'll worry about that in just a minute.
So let's see. Big names that come off the board. This is the one thing about this one. You got to kind of scroll through everything.
Yeah.
So I would say, so before we scroll, or as you scroll, where is the next big need?
Next big need, I would say at this point,
if I get a vote, I'm saying wide receiver.
Okay.
Or either wide receiver or edge. Those would be my two, because if Huff's gone in this scenario,
Ricky Pearsall is still available. Let's look at it.
Okay, let's see. So we have Pearsall, and then the top.
Brandon Dorless and Marshawn Nealon are available.
Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver you were talking about, because we didn't talk about him last week. So we're getting new guys infiltrated into this mock draft.
I believe Ricky Pearsall had some good marks coming out of the Senior Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. Pearsall, and that's out of Florida. He's a Gator.
Yes,
all right, let's see what we got as the Mr. Gator here. Now, last week we took Jalen Polk from Washington. He was the 13th overall rated wide receiver. Now we have Ricky Pearsall, who's the 15th overall. So we're in that same, element. And then I see on the list here Johnny Wilson from Florida State. He's listed as number 16. So Pearsall,
Florida boys.
Couple Florida boys. So let's look at Ricky Pearsall. Pearsall, 6 foot, 4.52 40-yard dash.
Kind of short.
Overall, 85.5.2 out of 100 rating, 74 against the defense. When a QB targets him, a quarterback has 113.8 QBR. So very good high marks from quarterback to receiver. His hands are an 88. His short receiving receptions are at an 83. 92 on intermittent routes, 93 on the deep threat, only 57 on blocking. And again, you know me with wide receivers, secondary receivers, and blocking. I like that element to the mix. Natural ability to separate in the slot position. So he's more of a slot receiver in that, in that offensive scheme for Nathaniel Hackett. He's elusiveness after the catch, yak monster, versatile usage in return plays as a runner. So again, you can use some swing tosses. Lacks balance and consistency, struggles with aggressive physical defenses. So he has to work on his physicality the most. So you have some good attributes to him. But again, just like we have in Javar Bullard, picking 72 overall as a safety, he had Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. You have Purcell with Garrett Wilson, who's your deep threat. Purcell, give him more of the easy targets, kind of like what Allen Lazard was supposed to do this year. And then you have Gabe Davis, who's also a deep threat. So basically 2 deep threats and a short threat. And remember, you also have tight end Conklin, who's not going to be running deep routes. He's that intermittent 5 to 10 yard kind of guy. To balance that off, Purcell's very nice. Purcell is not bad in that, option case scenario. I did see we had some trades. I don't know if you want to discuss those.
Yeah, one was your San Francisco Niners. They were kind of offering a 7th round pick and future picks. I wasn't.
No, that's not going to work in that sense.
But the one we did have was moving up 8 spots, or moving down 8. Yeah, moving 8 spots to 111, and then getting a future pick next year. The future pick, I don't mind. Do you think we'd be all right moving up 8 spots and
moving down 8 spots? Well.
You think Purcell might still be there?
Well, what I did is I looked at the next receiver that's under Purcell, the one from Florida State, in Johnny Wilson, just in case. And if you scroll up on the wide receivers, who's the next wide receiver after Johnny Wilson?
Malik Washington.
Malik Washington. So pretty much if we move down, what was it, 8 picks? I doubt all 3 are going to go. One of them probably does, but all 3... That's a toughie on that one. But looking at Johnny Wilson in comparison to Purcell, he's got the height advantage. He's 6'6".
I love it.
So you got a 6'6", 4.42 40-yard dasher. So he's taller and faster. And he's got a 38-inch vertical takeoff, as I like to call it. His metrics, though, are less. He only quarterbacks when targeting him have a QBR of only 100, so 13 points less in comparison to Purcell. His hands are 59, which is less. 78 as a short receiver, 84 with intermittent routes, 81 at the deep threat. But here is a big difference between Purcell and Wilson. Wilson ranks 78th in blocking, which is something huge that I feel the Jets really need, especially with Breece Hall. Now, we beefed up the offensive line, so that takes you through the initial, let's get through the line of scrimmage and get to that secondary motion. Now, if we want to have a big play here, let's get the receivers to do work.
Yeah.
So it depends. Do you want to go with height, speed, and blocking, or average height and speed, but elite intermittent route ability? So it depends where you want to go in these scenarios. And
it's like you said, we got 2 deep threats already on the outside.
Johnny Wilson is a contested catch maestro, adjusts mid-air. I'm going to see. He's got run after catch. He's dynamic at that. Elite catch radius, high point specialist. I'm looking to see if he's a deep threat or an intermittent threat in this sense. They both receivers are challenged when it comes to opposing defenses being tight man-to-man press coverage.
Getting physical with them.
Getting physical. There is a limited route selection on Johnny Wilson. So really, what one has, the other doesn't, but what the other doesn't have, the other one has. So again, do you want?
So he's coming out of like a kind of like an air raid type offense, out of Florida State or something, because it seems like they use him more for blocking than they do ball catching.
Let me look at his collegiate stats here. In college, He played 30 games with 1,274 snaps. He's projected to go in the third round. And here's his current NFL relatability. They have him related to A.T. Perry from New Orleans and Nico Collins from Houston. Now, I didn't get you the player comparison on Persall, so let me get that just, again, for perspective purposes. They're comparing Persall to either Xavier Hutchinson from Houston and Jackson Smith Njigba from Seattle Seahawks. So, again, the more
I like the comparison to Nico Collins, man. I like that.
These are very, very, very similar wide receivers in different ways. Let me
throw it over to you. Who would you pick if you were the 49ers and you were on the board right now and you needed to pick wide receiver and you have these two guys? Who would it be?
Because I know what Kyle Shanahan loves to run in our offensive scheme, I'd probably go Johnny Wilson for the blocking ability. Just because I know when Christian McCaffrey gets out in space, you're going to, like kind of what Jawan Jennings brings to the table for the 49ers. He's not going to be getting 7-8 receptions a game like a Brandon Ayuk or a Deebo Samuel would, but he'll get 3 catches in the game for 40 yards, maybe a touchdown here and there, but it's the elite blocking ability at the second, third level that creates those big plays. So for me, I would take the Florida State Seminole Johnny Wilson.
I like that.
And you get height and speed. So, in scenarios where if injuries happen to a Gabe Davis or, and again, I don't wish injuries upon anybody, but, Hammy gets pulled in the second quarter, can't return to the game, and you need a deep threat. 6'6" against a safety who may be only 6'1", that could be a difference maker in the game.
Now, let me ask you, if we make this trade with the Bears, do you think there's a chance Johnny Wilson's there at 111? Remember, we will get 111 and then 112.
You got New England, Arizona, Chargers, Tennessee, Giants.
Yeah. New England could go for a receiver.
New England could go for a receiver. Arizona needs receivers. The Chargers, from what I'm hearing, they have Mike Williams could be cut. Tennessee needs all the teams after you need a receiver.
Right.
Now again, we don't know what each team picked because of the way this draft database is. You can't click and see what they've taken. But again, the mock draft system could be weird. Like one team could draft 7 wide receivers. It's the mock draft. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
I take Johnny Wilson. I think if we went from pick 103 to 107, if it was within 5 picks, risk it. But 8 picks, and with all those teams needing a receiver, again, not knowing what they've already picked, but knowing in real life, New England definitely needs receivers. Arizona needs them. The Chargers need them. Tennessee needs them. And the Giants need them. And the Bears could use them too.
Yeah. Shit. That's probably what they want right here. They probably want Johnny Wilson.
I know. And if you hit accept,
would be a great receiver for a guy like Justin Fields.
Yeah. So if I would decline the trade and watch. We take Wilson, and I guarantee Persall from Florida goes within the next 3 picks.
Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New York Jets, number 93 overall, wide receiver, Florida State, Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, I think Persall went. Oh, Persall is still there.
You gotta be joking.
Wow. Well, scroll down the wide receiver train and see if the other one was gone. No. So I am very okay. Okay, so see on your draft board where it says New York Jets on the handle? Yeah. Can you switch that to the Patriots?
I don't.
And if you could see where...
No, it doesn't let me select anything.
Oh, okay. I thought you could go...
Try something here. No, that doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Okay, I thought maybe if you scroll to a different team, you could see who they picked. Interesting.
Oh, Chicago picked an inside offensive lineman, wow. B. Coleman.
This is where I kind of want to see. This is where I want to see where everybody picked. It's very interesting how this goes.
Yeah.
So no wide receivers get taken out of the 3 we talked. Wow.
It's kind of weird. I feel like I've been able to go back in the past and see who's picked what.
Yeah. Well, if we can't this time around, it's a-okay. No problem. We make it work here.
Weird, but okay.
Let's see here. So we have the Jets now at 112, and we have 114 as well. And I know we had some calls for a trade. So before we get too much deep into this, is there any trades available?
Yep.
Let's see what we got.
We got 3 offers. The Chargers want to give us 2 5ths and a 6 for number 112. Same thing from the Saints. And the Cowboys want to give us 6, 2 7ths, and next year's 4th.
Okay, let's
First
look at.
of all, I don't like the Cowboys trade.
Yeah, we're rejecting the Cowboys. So out of the other 2, let me see. After 114, how many picks do we have after 114?
After 114, we have 187 and Mystery Relevant.
Okay. So 114 steep gap. What did the Rams offer? So 114, 187. We would lose 112 and get basically 1, 2. So we would have relatively 4 picks in a general vicinity.
Then there's the Saints offer.
149, 49, 60, 90. And what was the Rams again? 469, 579. So the Saints get you a little bit higher than the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, the Rams and the Saints, both those offers are relatively the same. It's just schematics at this point. So if we're going to go by schematics, Saints ranks higher than the Rams, just because you get a closer pick. And I think because we have pick 114 that sandwiches the Raiders pick, I think this is the time where we could make that trade.
Okay.
I really think this is the time because, again, you have 2 picks within 3 spots and you're only losing one of them. So really, and you're basically getting 3 picks for just
one.
You're getting 3 for 1, but I'm looking at the spacing. We're losing 2 players, the 112 pick and whoever the Raiders take, in order to get these 3 later on. I think, to me, this is the time to make the trade.
You got it. I like the trade too. We could use some late round. We could use some late round guys. Some bodies.
Depth piece. We achieved that last time around, so let's roll with it.
Thank you, Saints.
All right.
Marcus Lloyd. They went running back. The Raiders.
Okay, so Marcus Lloyd. So now running back we know is not a huge need for the New York Jets because there's a guy named Breece Hall involved. Mm-hmm. So that's a good situation here. So we've taken offensive tackle, safety, wide receiver. Is this the time to take edge?
I think this could be it. Let's see what we got.
So let's see. What do we got available on the edge side of things?
Marshawn Nealon is still available.
Nobody above Nealon? I thought I saw somebody above Nealon. Unless my brain. Nope, that's it. Okay. So Nealon.
Mohamed Kamara after him and Javon Solomon.
Okay. Okay. Now we already have. So we've taken care of wide receiver. We have a backup quarterback. Our offensive line is pretty much intact. D-line at this point, the highest guy is the Clemson Tyler Davis and Alabama's Justin
Obogabe.
Well, let's see. If you had to do between D-line or edge, since we're talking defense here, where would you go first? Edge to replace Huff? Or
I think I'd go edge.
Okay, let's see. So edge is Marshawn Nealon.
Tackle real quick. Blake Fisher still available.
Let's see. As I'm scrolling through, Marshawn Nealon is rated 14th overall in the edge rusher category out of, I believe, is it Western Michigan. Mm-hmm. And then you have Javon Solomon, who we saw on that list as well, right after the Colorado State guy. Mm-hmm. Okay, 147. So Nealon's ranked 14, Solomon's ranked 15, and then Kamara's ranked 17th. So all relatively in the same motion here. So looking at Nealon, let's see, 6'3", 4.8, 40-yard dash, 268 weight, 77 against opposing offenses, 70% tackling, 78% against the pass rush, 82% against the run defense. So does a pretty good job there. He's projected to go in the 4th round. 37 college games, so has college experience. They have him related to Josh Paschal, who went to Kentucky. I'm not sure what team he's on right now, but he's a 91 percentile match. Relentless, strong off the edge as a pass rusher, run fresh, is savvy, versatile. Quickness and flexibility are the top 2 attributes that he has at the end of the day. A weakness of Neyland's is he isn't a true edge burner, but might be better off kicking inside on passing downs, and he struggles shedding blocks. Those are his weakness of attributes at the end of the day.
Okay.
So that's Marshawn Neyland for you. If we look at the overall all portion, let's see. Now, we have a couple other players available. We have Josh Newton. That's a linebacker, Cedric Gray. Allen.
We could probably get a linebacker, come in on situational passing downs.
Let's see. What do we got on the? What do we got linebacker situation?
Cedric Gray is the top linebacker right now.
Okay.
It's kind of a steep fall off until Tommy Eckenberg.
Cedric Gray.
Probably how you say it.
Okay, well, let's take a look at Cedric Gray, and let's compare, because edge and linebacker, in ways, very similar. Again, It depends on how the defensive mindset is. Let's see here. Linebacker. Out of North Carolina, Cedric Gray. He's listed 11th overall at an 81.9. So there's other guys that have been taken before him that are listed below him on this draft board.
Really?
He had 5 sacks, 121 tackles, 64 solo tackles in college, 6'1", a 4.73 40-yard dash at 232 pounds. 69% tackling, 79% pass rush, 73 run defense, and 80% in coverage defense. He's projected to go in the 5th round at this point. So right now we're a round ahead of where he potentially could be. Elite athletic skills. He can be used as a rangy run defender inside. Locates the ball well with his quickness. He's bigger than his listed size. Holds his ground against bigger blockers. Has excellent feel for working off blockers, which is something that Neyland did not have. Was shucking off those blockers.
Yeah.
His weaknesses are as a run defender, he's too much of a grab and drag tackler, lacking violence and too frequently allowing running backs to escape. So you get that shuck ability, but not the tackle get him down on first instinct ability. This is a good situation here, and I like this mock draft in comparison to last week, because this week at 114, we took Tyke Smith as safety positioning. So, with the Jets depth chart right now, you have to look at, as we get deeper into the draft, the coachability aspect and the development aspect. Who are these players going to have to coach them up on the field? So right now on the Jets depth chart, who is that linebacker that's going to take Cedric Gray under his wing?
C.J. Mosley, baby, the captain.
So C.J. Mosley is able to, if basically the big instinctive part about this is just getting a guy down on first instinct. I'm not a football player, but how hard is it to coach up a young rookie to just make the instinctual tackle run on boom? As soon as you touch him, he goes down.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not easy.
Because when you look at the current Jet, let me look at here if I can pull up this Jets depth chart at the moment. Because I want to see, after Mosley, let me see if I can pull it up by position.
Chaz Surratt, and then you got Quincy Williams and Zaire Barnes. Oh, and then Jamian Sherwood. You also have Jamian Sherwood, Sam McGuavin, and really mad at that.
To me, you have Quincy Williams and C.J. Mosley, and maybe it's a lack of me for knowing a lot about the Jets depth chart. Again, you know me as a Niners fan, but
No, it's all good.
after Quincy Williams and C.J. Mosley,
Even though you were here for 20-something weeks with us.
well, remember, the Jets didn't have a linebacker issue this season.
No,
It was all Williams and Mosley. We didn't really talk about Sherwood and Barnes and Surratt. Those 4 backup guys, the second and third depth guys, what would you grade them? Because, again, we didn't really talk about them this year because Mosley and Williams stayed healthy for the primary portion of the year, and they were on the field consistently.
I mean, Surratt and Barnes, I think, are all right. Dude, I don't even remember much of Sammy Guavin. So,
well, I know Sammy Guavin is he's a unrestricted free agent.
Okay.
On this sheet.
He probably won't be back.
Yeah. So to me, if you can get a nice top 12 rated linebacker who's projected to go 5th round, you're taking him a little early, yes, but the intangibles are there.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when we're talking run blocking ability, again, I'm not sure how much time Mosley and Williams have left on their contract situations, but if you can mold this guy into one of them.
Mosley's last year, although there's a good chance that the Jets want to create more money for themselves, they can extend Mosley.
So see there, again, it's.
But he is in his final year of his deal.
31 years old.
Man, he's young.
I know. To me, I think Cedric Gray could be a nice little piece to the puzzle.
I think, yeah.
I think it would be a nice little piece to the puzzle in this sense. Just because, again, remember, you're losing Huff, and even though Huff is an edge rusher, to me, edge and linebacker can go tandem. Because I know with the 49ers, they will, I know Nick Bosa is an edge and Chase Young is an edge. But you'll see in specific defensive schemes, Fred Warner comes down, Dre Greenlaw comes down, and it's in those blitz packages. So,
yep.
Cedric Gray, are you feeling it?
I'm feeling it. Yeah. I'm feeling it. Ladies and remember, gentlemen,
we got all those trades from the New Orleans Saints. So again, we can, let's go.
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New York Jets linebacker, North Carolina, Mr. Cedric Gray. Hey, we got an A on that one. How about it?
How about? See, so far so good.
I love that pick, Dominic. I appreciate you assisting me on that one. I mean, just everything you were saying about that kid, just phenomenal. The raw power this kid possesses is going to be fucking insane.
Well, I love on the draft analyzer, it talks about his weaknesses being he's raw. He's a rookie. And they're like, sometimes he doesn't know when to control his power. It's like
a raw rookie. How about it? Go figure.
Yeah. So, but what I'm liking so far from this mock draft, look at the grades: A+, A+, A+. We are rocking this so far. 4 picks to go.
Best GM tandem in the league.
Let's go, baby. Let's see what we got. We got 4 picks remaining, or 3 before Mr. Irrelevant. So.
We're currently on the clock at 169, and look who's still there, Mr. Keith Randolph Jr.
Okay, so we've taken now 1 offensive tackle, a defensive safety,
yes, sir,
a linebacker, a D lineman. So we've taken 2 offensive players and 3 defensive players.
Ray Davis, running back, is the highest rated player on the board currently.
I think this is where
Kentucky.
We are at, what pick are we at again?
169.
169. So 169 last time around in last week's picks, With this pick, roughly, we picked Sam Hartman, a quarterback out of Notre Dame. And then we picked offensive line after that. I think for depth purposes,
Hartman's gone now.
Hartman's gone. So, hey, we can have Tua Tagovailoa's brother.
Thanks.
No thanks. I think that, honestly, this would be the time, since there's a steep drop-off, to go back to offensive line. I think because you have Joe Alt, who shores it up, but now you're going to need some depth pieces whenever, the unnecessary, again, I don't want this, but the injuries occur, all the nicks
Big guys get hurt.
Big guys get hurt. So let's go O-line. See what we got. We got Layden Robinson
and Mason McCormick and Satoa Lemuena.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got here from these gentlemen right here, because I think in this position, we didn't see many of these players last time around last week's mock draft. So this is which is something I do like for week 2 of the mock draft, because we have not copied a pick. We're not researching similar players. We're trying to be objective here, and this is something that I like. So the best one is Robinson from Texas A&M. We are outside of the top 12, and we're pretty much outside of the top 24. So you're really getting
way up there. Wow.
Yeah. Actually, I think the Utah guy, is this the right? Yeah. Okay. So the Utah guy, for conversation's sake. Oh, actually, you know what? I may be corrected twice. Okay. So speaking of O-linemen, Layden Robinson, not even ranked in the top 24, but McCormick and Lamea
We'll go
from Utah. We'll just call him Senior Samoan over there.
There you go.
McCormick and Samoan over there are rated higher, and out of those 3, Mason McCormick is ranked higher at 20th overall, with Satoa Lamoa, I'm going to call him, ranked 24th. Okay. So now
top 20 of this position.
Food for thought. Just food for thought. Layden Robinson's ranked 32.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting how they have him ranked at 153. So you want me to research the Samoan who's the highest, or McCormick who's the highest, or the Utah guy?
I think I want to hear McCormick, because that's where I'm leaning right now. This kid sounds really
83.
Sounds like he could be a good project piece.
83.8 out of 100. He's 6'4", 315.
Wow, he's a big old boy.
5.1 40-yard dash. So you have a glutton for punishment here. 63% defensive rating. You're going to love these. He's projected to go 3rd round.
Wow.
3rd round.
Wow.
95th overall.
Yeah, I think I know where we're going here.
Yeah, but I love perspective. So I'm going to compare him to the Utah guy. Okay. We'll compare.
Okay.
For Mason McCormick, he is ranked in pass blocking ability in the 100 percentile. And he's ranked 89th in run blocking percentile. This is where it assures it for me. He played 64 games in college, over 3,000 snaps, the veteran in college. Yep. His weakest attribute is, of course, his 40-yard dash. He's not the fleetest of foot, but
I don't need to go out there on deep routes.
Yeah, they don't have many pros and cons for him, because again, he's coming out of where's he coming? He's South Dakota State, so a different school. Man, he went to the Shrine Bowl, so it's a different type of bowl game, not the Senior Bowl, but high performance, high value. His handwork is very good in the top 29 percentile. His arms are in the top 39 percentile.
Dude, I'm loving this pick right now.
So in order to, per perspective, let's go to the Satoa I don't know, the Samoan from Utah.
I say Lamoya.
Lamoya. Okay, we'll go with Lamoya. He's 6'4", 319, so very similar body. Now, he runs us even slower, a 5.25 40. And, this ain't going to work out. He's projected to go in the 4th round, but his defensive rating is 77. Now, pass blocking for McCormick was 100. Mm-hmm. Only 57 here. And then run blocking a 71. So take a seat. Take a seat. And the reason why he's so low, he has natural power ability, and he works with high-end physical traits as a 300-pounder, but his negatives, underpowered. He's a waist bender with subpar footwork. So I think even though it's not coming from a well-known
subpar footwork, it's scaring me. So.
And McCormick coming from South Dakota State, again, not the number one like in Alabama or Georgia, but he was a 4-year starter.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a little Mason McCormick.
I'm right there with you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New York Jets. Offensive lineman, South Dakota State, Mr. Mason McCormick. Hey, we got another A.
How about that? Let's go.
Hey, we
got a
trade.
trade.
We don't take any trades anymore. Our trades are done for the day.
What did we have? We had the
Sorry.
Steelers and Vikings. Get out of here.
I think they were all next year picks.
I think
I think the Steelers were given a fifth there.
No,
we're in the sixth round. What am I talking about?
There was somewhat of a pick swap there.
I think so. So we're at 187. Are we on the
three picks still? So we've shored up the offensive line with 2 picks. Defensively, we have D-line, linebacker, safety. Now we have 1 wide receiver. So for me, if we're looking at the future of New York Jets football,
those are the top 2 best players available.
Solomon's still there.
Keith Randolph Jr. is still there. He was there. He was there when we were talking about Tyler Davis at 149. And we're at 187 now.
So, and this is where I'm going to re-bring up the New York Jets depth chart here. Because when looking at the depth chart, defensively, I'm looking at edge rusher here. Everybody's pretty much still in positioning. You have Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers. And after that, but again, Bryce Huff, Al Woods, Solomon Thomas are all unrestricted free agents at this point.
Yeah.
Looking at the offensive side of things, Becton's a free agent, McGovern's a free agent, Randall Cobb is a free agent on again, we're talking about secondary wide receivers over here. My gut was telling me initially wide receiver, but again, we have Wilson, Davis, and we took Johnny Wilson. I think getting down, you still got Gibson, who would be a second. You got Brownlee. So I think the wide receiver pool is good. We haven't looked at this throughout this mock draft at all. What does the running back market look like? Where are we going to find
Gerard Jordan? He's actually a decent player. I believe I've heard Dom C talk about this guy. And
we talked about him last week because we did. And Frank Gore Jr. is listed there, but we got him as Mr. Irrelevant last year. So let's bring up Jordan again.
Okay.
Let's bring him up because I know we discussed him a little bit last week. And let's see here. Running back out of Louisville. We know another good running back from Louisville? Lamar Jackson. Oh, wait, he's a quarterback. Let's see. Jordan.
Glorified running back.
Let's see where we got. Jordan is ranked 23rd overall on the running backs. Missouri's Cody Schroeder is ranked higher, and Frank Gore is ranked higher in perspective. So, Gerard Jordan, I'm going to compare him to Corey Schroeder because we took Frank Gore as just a lovable pick last week. So, let's take him off the board mentally for the moment. So, Gerard Jordan, he's ranked 78.1 on the draft board in comparison to Cody Schroeder as 80.1. So those are many of the 2 we're going to go with in this case scenario with the backup running back. He's a workhorse back, Jordan. He is 5'10", 4.3 on the 40-yard dash, 85% rushing, 66 on breaking tackles, 59 as a receiver, 53 in pass blocking, and 71% as a run blocker. Projected to go in the 7th round. So right now we are at pick 187, which is good for what, 6th round, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Or late 5th, early 6th. He played in 35 games, but only 961 total snaps. So not utilized as a main back. He's an above average IQ player.
You're scaring me right back to Frank Gore Jr.
Yeah, he's shaky as a pass protector, and he struggles to get a push at the point of attack against D linemen. So let's go back to the Missouri guy, because that's somebody we did not talk about last week. He rates Corey Schrader as an 80.1, and he's a workhorse back as well. He was at the Senior Bowl, 5'8", 4.6 40-yard dash with the 207 weight class, 88 at rushing. 65 at breaking tackles, which is better than Jordan. 54 at receiving. He's worse in pass blocking at 49, and his run blocking is 50. He is projected, though, to go 170 overall in the 6th round. He had 25 college games, but in less games, he had more snaps.
I don't like any of those guys.
No. So if we don't like the running back pool, gosh, man. Do we dare look at what quarterbacks are left?
Well, the last time I looked, the best overall was Joe Milton, and he's still there.
Okay, Joe Milton. What position do you want to see? Because we've taken care of a lot of positions, so at this point, it's really rack 'em and stack 'em depth at this point. Tight end?
Yeah.
I know we took Isaac Rex last time around.
Yep. We have available Jared Wiley, Brevin Spanford, AJ Barner, Dallin Hulker, and Eric All.
Oh. Oh. Man. At this point in last draft, we were taking Will Putnam at the draft spot, or even Sam Hartman at 186.
You know, I think here, I don't want to lose him, and I just think I'm going to bring him back. I just want to.
Go.
This is just a me pick. Ladies
Frank
and gentlemen, welcome to the New York Jets, Frank Gore Jr.
And
Got an A on it!
And we talked about Frank Gore last time around. The DNA, the center of gravity, the staunch ability to put him as a 3-back behind the depth chart of Breece Hall and Israel.
It's not a foregone
Abanikanda.
conclusion that Izzy Ibanaconda.
Abanikanda, thank you.
Yeah, there's no guarantee he could probably beat out Frank Gore for number 2.
So I like it. And
Ibanaconda has issues with strength and his blocking not all that well.
Don't tell me that Frank Gore Jr. couldn't do that.
I think he could. So I wouldn't count him out. I wouldn't count him out in the competition. We're not doing any trades, but Buffalo's willing to give us swap 6 and give us an extra 6.
That was a nice.
Yeah, and then the Raiders were willing to give us a 7th and then next year 6.
If we had to take one, I would have taken Buffalo's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But even then, it's kind of hard to trade in the division.
Yeah.
So we're at 192. We're on the board. Let's go to the big board here. And the best player available currently, excuse me, my computer's slowing down here.
It's telling you to finish the mock draft fast now.
I think so. Wait a minute. We're having all kinds of problems here. Hold on. You got to be kidding me, dude. Yeah, I knew my computer was going to fuck me in some way, shape, or form today, dude. I just fucking knew it, especially when it started slowing down about like 30 minutes ago. I was like, in my back of my head, I was like, it's going to fuck me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for our draft. We don't get to fucking finish it this week. Now I'm really fucking irritated, man.
Yeah. I
am really fucking irritated. So
you want to do a stopgap pause and then say,
No, fuck it. At this point, I don't even give a shit. I'm pretty sure people are fucking clicking off the fucking episode as we speak, so it doesn't really fucking matter. Don't even need a fucking outro at this point. So if you're still with us, as far as I can read, I can't fucking scroll any further. Sorry, folks. I'm just really pissed off right now. My computer's just slowly dying.
Johnny Wilson, Cedric Gray, Tyler Davis, Frank Gore Jr. was in that mix as well. There was another edge rusher, Mason McCormick was in there as well, who was a dynamic beast. We won't be able to finish the last 2 picks due to technical difficulties, but A plus.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is fucking it for our mock draft. We had a great one going, I thought. A really good one, actually.
2 picks remaining. But this is the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, man. It's, good free agent cap space spending. We had good picks. I think, you know what? I'm going to try to look at it from a positive perspective, even though Microsoft Edge can lick our taint at this point.
Yeah.
A plus across the board. We took picks to help a lot of depth pieces here in the organization. Yep. Getting Joe Alt at number 10, that was a fallen savior.
Wow. That right there made it an A++ draft.
I think Mason McCormick at the end of the day was going to be a dynamic pick for the D-line. Wide receiver was really good. I think you could see a lot of picks being used for the Jets in 2024. So I liked what we had to boot. I know we couldn't finish the last 2, but who needs the last 2? Because, they're late draft picks, sprinkle them in at the end of the day. Who knows if you're going to find your next Brock Purdy there, but at the end of the day, I like what we put together through what was that, seven or so picks at that point. So I'll take what we put together.
We did really well, man. I mean, just the fact that Joe Alt was there, man,
you lost your shit in a good way. You lost your shit.
My God. I couldn't believe because I'm looking at the board. I'm like, he went 8th overall, and I'm not computing what I'm looking at.
And then I was like, wait, his name is still highlighted.
It's like, oh yeah, you're right. Holy shit, he's available. God.
I will say, if that was the one thing by using the draft board that we did use, you couldn't see who was taken clearly in comparison to last week, so that we just had to readjust our mindset. But I think we did a good job.
I still don't understand why we couldn't go back and look, because I feel like, because I've used that simulator before, and I feel like I've been able to go back and look like who picked who.
Yeah, especially
or usually it would say like the team, the guy's name and the team who picked him or whatever.
Yeah, especially when we're talking about the wide receiver conversation, and of course I'm bringing up this whole theory about the Patriots, the Cardinals, the Giants, and none of them take a wide receiver. You son of bitches.
Right. So.
Either way, as the draft is ending here on the One Jets pod, let's talk briefly. What are potentially next week's mock draft scenarios? We took Brissett this week.
Brissett, like I said, Brissett will probably be back next week too.
I think honestly, I think you go for the whole enchilada and try to get a wide receiver 1 to pair with Garrett Wilson. Then you don't have to waste an early, maybe second or third round pick on a wide receiver, and you can go maybe dive in on a higher D lineman or edge rusher. So right now you have Garrett Wilson, Jason Brownlee, and Xavier Gibson as your leading 3 wide receivers with Allen Lazard in there somewhere. If I look right now at the NFL free agent class. Let's see what we got here. When everybody tracks out momentarily, when the new fiscal year of the NFL begins, and you look at the wide receiver position, it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty stacked. You got Mike Evans, Odell Beckham Jr. Again, I'm just listing them how they list them. Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd, Cedric Wilson. I'm looking for other big names on this list. Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley is on this list as well. T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr.
Darnell Mooney.
And I would say that's pretty much it out of the big ones right there. I would say those would be your dynamic threats at the end of the day. So T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr., Calvin Ridley, and Mike Evans. Out of those 4, who are you giving a contract to?
Oh man. Whoo!
In a perfect world where all
now am I just money like am I?
Well, we do have to operate under the cap space a little bit.
Those guys are expensive.
I think Mike Evans is the most expensive guy. You know that. Yeah. I think if you
Michael Pittman Jr. might be the cheapest,
but he's coming off a great season. If you're looking at bang for your buck, I would say Calvin Ridley, because he came back after that year suspension, had a decent year with Jacksonville. It was kind of helter-skelter, but again,
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence was injured. He was working with C.J. Beathard and injured. You know, you want a healthy quarterback to pair with him,
All right.
and you don't want him to be wide receiver 1. Garrett Wilson's wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
So, you know, T. Higgins might want money.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and again, you just don't know what Michael Pittman Jr. wants. So if I had to rank it on money purposes, Calvin Ridley could be a New York Jet.
Well, we'll see. We should get together this week and put together some.
Yeah, we'll put together some. You know, we're just sprinkling.
I like how you're putting together the numbers and the years. So I'm gonna go more. I'm gonna pick your brain this week when we do this scenario. So
of course.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize that we didn't get to finish this mock draft. I am bummed. We probably weren't gonna get much anyway. I mean, the pickings were getting slim anyway. So,
but hey,
we thank you for joining us this week on behalf of Dominic and myself. Thank you for checking us out here on the One Jets Pod. If you're listening to us on the audio side of things, we appreciate you listening to it all the way to the end. Make sure to follow us and give us a 5-star. If you're checking us out here on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and smash that bell notification. And we'll see you guys next week on the One Jets Pod weekly mock. Again, on behalf of Dominic and myself, we'll see you down the road. Go Jets!
Welcome to Jet Life Stadium.
Hit it!